Y'all ready to blaze away or what?
There's another video that I could make about Jun Kazama. I'm still like thinking about whether or not I will or won't. Well, really, I'm trying to think about what it is that I want to say. In Tekken 8, one of the things that Harada said when we got the trailer is that not only is Jun Kazama back, but with her returning, oh, I thought that was it. With her returning to the franchise, she will be bringing a lot of answers with her. A lot of the things that we always ask about, and like why this and the Devil Gene, and maybe not all of it, but a lot of it should be answered with Jun Kazama's return. And that's something that I always kind of like theorized about, is like, how much does she know about the Devil Gene? I figured that she knew that Jin had the Devil Gene just by how she was like teaching him and training him. What really convinced me was Tekken Bloodline. Seeing how she was telling him to like...
They jumped me.
It doesn't matter. Know when to stop. And that's what disappoints me. You lost a fight today, Jin.
No, I didn't.
You lost the fight with yourself, Jin. Strong mind, strong body.
To me, that she for 100% knew that he had the Devil Gene. And honestly, bro, I wish I could see like an alternate universe where Ogre never showed up. Imagine if like Jun Kazama kept on teaching Jin and like basically completed his training. Do you know how Jedis, they have the Padawan, and then at a certain point the training's over? Jin was still a Padawan and his training was never complete.
You have much to learn, Jun Kazama.
That's why he kind of turns into like a gray Jedi. I don't know if you guys know anything about Star Wars and Grey Jedis, but that's kind of why he becomes that. Basically, a Grey Jedi is like a Jedi that like they use some aspect of the dark side. You think Jun could use her Kazama power to aid Jin in controlling his Devil Gene? Well, one thing Harada did say is that with Jun Kazama, and this is the thing too, he said that Jun Kazama in the story will be helping Jin. He didn't say Jin and Kazuya. He specifically said Jin. But also too, what he said, which is really crazy. He said that in the trailer, Jun Kazama is using her rage art on Jin. So this is just a working theory of mine, but I feel like Jun Kazama at some point will fight Jin. And a lot of people don't like that. When I said that in my Team Jin versus Kazuya video, people was like, no way, bro, how dare you, how dare you, no. But, I mean, that would make an interesting story, but also I feel like, how will she react to him doing World War III? In the universe of Tekken 8 takes place 1 year after Tekken 6. So when Jun Kazama shows up, that World War stuff is going to be like 1 year ago. And that's one key distinction, right? Lars still has faith in Jin. Lars is like, come on, Jin, you can do it. But not every character feels that way. Zafina doesn't feel like, yeah, Jin, you can do it. And she flipped. She's like, okay, you messed up, you made everything worse, and now I'm going to have to kill you. That's how Zafina feels. And she's trying to get Claudio to help. We don't know how Zhao Yu feels, or Asuka, or Harong. How does Harong? Well, Harong, we kind of can see how he feels because Harong sacrifices his eye for Jin. So you can see that he hasn't abandoned Jin. Even though Jin did all that crazy stuff, he's still trying to at least protect him in some way. I think Jun Kazama, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities for Jun Kazama to be helping Jin, but I feel like that's the thing too. As a mother, bro, your son caused World War III. You not gonna spank him? You not gonna say nothing? You know what I mean? Just, yeah, Jin, let's get Kazuya. You know, she just go, what? That doesn't even make sense as a mother for her to not even like reprimand Jin at all. Let's see what you guys are saying. If she interprets the fight, she will be. Oh, interrupts the fight. Jin throws Jun Kazama off a cliff in Tekken 8. That's the story I want to see. No, Mom, I'll do whatever I want. You can't tell me how to run the Mishima Zaibatsu. Isn't Lars Jin's uncle? Lars is the worst uncle. There's so much I can say about this guy Lars, bro. The fact that he's the uncle just makes it that much funnier. I wouldn't even say he's the cool uncle. I don't even know what kind of uncle to classify Lars as. Lay's the best. Yeah, Lay's the best uncle. That's the fun uncle right there. Lay's the uncle that shows up to Christmas and brings everybody's gifts. Lars is the one who like shows up and he's like, this is my new wife, and everybody's like, bro, how old is she?
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Mommy Jun? You think Kazuya will go soft at the sight of Jun after so long? I don't know, bro. I don't know. I feel like Jin is gonna start crying when he sees Jun Kazama. He's gonna be like,
Mom! Mom!
but Kazuya, he could either start crying too, or he can be like, I don't care about none of that. And who knows? Attack her. And I know people always say Unknown isn't canon. I want to talk about that too in a second. Unknown. So in Project X Zone 2, Kazuya didn't recognize Unknown, and he wanted to fight her, beat her up. And that's one thing. If Unknown shows up instead of Jun Kazama at first, then it's definitely going down. Even though people say Tekken Attack Tournament 2 isn't canon, right? If you look at what happened with Jun Kazama in Tekken Attack Tournament 2, you show up and you beat up Jun Kazama. Once you beat up Jun Kazama, she transforms into Unknown.
You win.
Mommy June. And that is so crazy because you would think it would be the opposite way around. You think Unknown would be the one that you fight and then she reverts back. But I wonder if something like that will happen in Tekken 8 where we have Kazuya fight her, Jin fight her, someone fights her, but then she loses and she transforms into Unknown. I don't know if they'll tap into that though, because that dives really deep into the whole Tekken Attack Tournament 2 and, you know, been there, done that. So I don't know if they'll do that or not. But going back to Kazuya, how would he react to Jun Kazama? That's the thing about Tekken. These characters can be interpreted in so many different ways. Like the way I think about Kazuya is going to be slightly different from how you guys in the chat think about Kazuya. My interpretation of him is someone who, you know, was forced to be evil. Like, he was thrown off a cliff at 5 years old. And the fact that he even survived to an adult is baffling. If you throw a 5-year-old off a cliff, all they know is Fortnite and V-Bucks. So the fact that he survived all the way to adulthood on his own and then showed up and beat up his dad, the way he thinks about the universe is going to be very skewed. You could say that Jun Kazama was the only thing that he ever loved, and that kind of brought his humanity back. So like in Tekken 8, would it do it again? Because he is a product of trauma? Exactly. So maybe Jun Kazama can bring that side out of him again. But at the same time, it's been a long time since she was like canonically in the game. You know, I was just thinking about Darth Vader. You know how Darth Vader, he was like Darth Vader for like a long time, right? He got thrown in lava and he was Darth Vader. I feel like Kazuya kind of is the same thing. He got thrown off of a cliff and he became evil. And yes, the Devil Gene complicates it a little bit, but their stories is really similar. And I could see somewhere at the end of it, him being redeemed. I was just looking at a video of mine that I made like a while ago talking about, can he be redeemed? There's two types of redemption, right? There's redemption with him and his family, like will Jun forgive him, Jin, Kazuya, that's one kind of redemption. But then another redemption is, will the world view him as like good again? Which, that will never happen. I don't think that's possible for Jin or Kazuya, really. If you think about Darth Vader again, comparing Kazuya to Darth Vader was redeemed in the eyes of Luke Skywalker, but the entire galaxy still viewed him as Darth Vader. But another comparison I want to make is Zuko. Zuko is another character who was really evil, but he was redeemed not only in the eyes of his enemies, but he was also redeemed in the eyes of the world. Like once the war ended in Avatar, Zuko was a hero. When you're talking about Kazuya, I don't see that happening because he's done way too much to come back from. Like there's a line in the sand. You can only do so much before you can never come back from that. Jin calls in World War III that the citizens of the Tekken universe will never forgive him. Miguel will never forgive him. And the same thing for Kazuya. That guy is literally wreaking havoc in New York City. There's only so much redemption these characters can get and also like deserve. They're really like monsters, you know? They're monsters. But going back to Jun Kazama, can he find redemption with Jun Kazama? I mean, yeah, I think so. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities for those two to work everything out. Because that's the thing too. That's the main thing about Jin that I always talk about. When you talk about what did Kazuya really do to Jin? Like, everyone in the chat, type out what Kazuya really did to Jin. Like, yeah, they fought a little bit, but what families don't fight? Abandon him? I mean, but Kazuya died though. Well, I guess you can make the argument that he abandoned after he got Jun Kazama pregnant. He abandoned him. So I guess you can say that. But even then, that's something that can be forgiven. Jin relates to what Kazuya is going through. Both of those characters have the devil gene inside of him. And if Kazuya was like, bro, like I left because like I just unlocked my devil gene and I was like going crazy. Jin's gonna be like, yeah, I know what that's like too. Like, I unlocked my devil gene when I was fighting Ogre or whatever, you know? So even that is still like something they can relate to. It's different. Like, he actually really threw Kazuya off a cliff. And Kazuya never had an interaction like that. And honestly, I thought that was the direction they were going when they showed the first trailer. Jin was like, this bloodline shouldn't exist, or I don't know, he said something, but basically what he said, it kind of framed the devil gene as the enemy, not necessarily Kazuya. But the second trailer, it definitely shows Kazuya is like the villain. We don't belong here. Yeah, that's what he said. We. Like, that's the thing. If people would have said you, then that would have really made it seem like, okay, this guy hates Kazuya. But he said we. So you can see that it's really not even like that personal. Yeah, I think having Kazuya die off would be a waste. It would be wasted potential. They should not do that.